Hi there, it's Darlene from Darlene's Creative Studio. I am working on a few more projects for the 100-day project on Instagram. This is from day 5, I believe, or February 5th, it might be day 6. I am working on recycling these old book pages, and these are from, old movies from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, I believe, is the era. They're quite old, but I have the whole book. It was a paperback. So I've just been creating some envelopes. And there are quite a few different kinds of envelopes you can make. What I call the coin pouch, which is very similar to those two. And then this one as well. And I've just added the little punch at the back. I'm trying to have so that some of the picture is showing on the front. This is another large one that I created, and I just folded the book page in half. That one's really easy to make. And these are some of the pouches without the lids that you could stick a large tag in or just attach this inside of a book. So I have that one, and then I have this one as well. And again, I've cut the little notch out of the tops of those two. There's another coin one. And then this is one I made with my envelope punch using, let me just move that out of the way, one of the measurements that's on this thing, and that's the envelope that it creates. That's the size it creates. And then this one, I more or less just took the book page and folded it and made my own template really quickly, like that. So I'm going to show you how to make a couple of those really quickly, because I'm just going to keep playing with these. So for the punch, you need an 8 1/4 by 8 1/4, and I am going to go ahead and go over to my chopper and cut this down. So 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So there's my 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. And then I'm just going to move these guys out of the way. We're going to move the punch over so you can see that. And you are to mark it at 3 1/8. That's your first score, like that, and a punch. Oops. And then when you turn it to the first score line, you turn it counterclockwise, and you just line up your line to this little bar here that's sticking out, like that, and then you score again. And then when you turn it this way, it should be your 3 1/8 again, which it is. Oops. And you got to be careful. This is a very thin book page, so you got to be very careful when you're scoring. And then you're going to turn it one more time, and you're going to mark it with that line again. And then you're just going to score it again and punch. And then in the back of the punch, you just stick the edge corners of the pages in, and it rounds them off for you, like that. So you end up with a page like that, and then you just fold the edges in. And this one is very simple, and the only thing I do not like about this particular punch is that the paper is always going to be on an angle. So if you're doing a pattern paper or anything like that, you're always going to have the front on an angle because you turn the page and it makes the envelope this way. For this little section, I just bend this little lip down like that. And then I flip it over to the inside. Can't tell if that's straight or not. Like that, and then you just fold that page down. So you made a very quick envelope. Now the other way that I do it without this, I'm just going to move that out of the way, is I want my envelope front to be here. Sorry, I want it to be this way. Just gotta double check what I did here. Yes, I did it sideways. So that's going to be my envelope. So all I do is take this and fold it this way. So I'm making the top flap and the bottom flap, and all I want to do is make sure that they overlap a little bit. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm pushing those together and making sure they overlap a tiny bit. So there's my flap going over top. And I should probably straighten this edge out a little bit. It's a little wonky. Like that. Okay. And then what you want to do is turn the edges in, and you only need them to go in enough to make, they don't have to touch, they just have to go in enough that you can touch them with your bottom flap. So I'm going to turn them in, just making sure this is straight. It doesn't look straight to me. 2, 1, 3, here it is, okay. It's just my glasses. I have new glasses and everything has a little bit of a wonk in it. Still doesn't look straight. Anyway, so I'm going to fold my sides in at 2.5. And I'm just guessing at this, but I want them both to be folded in about the same amount. So I'm just going to fold this one in at 2.5, like that. So you end up with this little folded piece. And then I just cut all the corners off, like this. There's one corner off. There's the other corner off. And the other corner off. And that will basically give you the shape of your envelope, like that. And then all I do for the bottom is take an angle cut down toward, just because if the flaps are left square, they'll get in the way when you fold it up. So there you go. So there's your basic, envelope shape. And then for this one, all I do is I mark a little mark here, right where the paper, the bottom paper touches the top paper. I make a little mark like that. And then I'm going to cut from that mark directly to the corner, like that. So from my mark to the corner. From that mark to the corner. So now when we close this, oops, our envelope goes down like that. And then for this one, I'm just going to guess a mark. I'm going to say 2 inches in. And I'm making those marks on the bottom flap. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to cut from the mark to the corner, from the mark that I made to the corner. And then you just flip that up. So now you have an angle there, and you just want to do that. And then for this one, I just take it in about, no, let's move it into about 1.5 inches. So let's go 1.5 inches. Maybe 1.25 inch, because I want the top flap to be a little wider. So 1.25, and again you're going to go from that mark to the corner. And again, I'm just guessing. There's no measurement here. And then you fold that down. So now I have an envelope that at least has some, like they're not on an angle like this one. See how they're on an angle? So this one they're now straight. So those are 2 really quick envelopes using the paper punch and then just yourself. And then the other way, and they're really simple. You just want to pick, excuse me, hiccups. You just want to pick something that you want to show on the front of the envelopes. So let's say we want this little guy to show. I'm literally just going to fold that edge in to give me a flap, right? And I'm going to use my little bone folder to flatten that out. Okay, so I want this to be my envelope, and again, then we're just going to fold that over to approximately there, like that. So that's going to be the front of my envelope. I'm just going to mark this by folding it back. So we're literally going to cut this piece off, and I'll do that on my cutter. So that's going to be what it looks like. And then I'm just going to take this little piece at the bottom, where it's the bottom of the page, and I'm just going to fold that up like that. And then we can either have this, and I'm just going to mark it, and we can decide afterwards. But that's basically going to be the envelope that I want to be seen. Right? So then we just start cutting away some of the pieces. So let's cut off this edge here, first of all. And I'm just going to do it on my cutter because it's faster. Okay. So we basically have this folded edge up, and we folded this edge down. And then we're going to do the same thing we did with the other envelope. When you open it up, you want to cut out those 4 corner pieces. And this is going to be my bottom flap that I keep. So I'm just going to cut that on an angle up toward that corner, and that one too, and cut that corner piece off. So I'm going to cut this on an angle. And then you want to make sure you cut enough of this off so that it doesn't catch on this flap. So I just go a little above the fold and cut that off. So now when we fold this over, it's not going to get caught on that bottom flap. And we're going to do the same thing to the top. I'm going to cut the side at an angle, and I'm just going to cut this off, and we'll decide what kind of top we want in a second. And the same thing here, we're just going to cut this off. There. So once you get all those pieces off, you've got your side flap to close it up, you've got your bottom flap to close up your envelope, and then you can either have this as a coin envelope, so this could be your flap. And I would just cut it off here, let's say here. And cut these on an angle. So that would be my coin envelope. Or you would cut this totally off, and then you could use, before you glue it, I would just take one of my punches, which I will do it on the back page. And you would just punch a little, oops, I'm going to do it this way so I can see where my page goes in. So you cut a little piece like that. So if you didn't want the flap and you want this to be a coin envelope, that's where you would punch it. I'm going to leave it as a coin envelope. So then I'm just going to glue this part down like that, my bottom flap. And then I will leave this flap for putting the envelopes in. So simple, easy, and that's all you would do for the coin flaps. And then again, if you want to cut that off and have the punch on that, that would be your pocket. So pockets, coin envelopes, and or an everyday envelope. And that is what I'm going to do with this whole stack here, because I've had these for over a year on my shelf. And again, I'm trying to use up the papers that are on my shelf. I don't want stacks and stacks of paper on my shelf. So I'm just going to sit here and go through all these and make all different kinds of envelopes. And then I will add these into some of my swaps and stuff. I was folding some of these already so that some of the ads were showing that I thought were pretty or that were really cool. And again, these would make great coin envelopes because I just have to fold, let's say this way, so that edge of the book will become the side part. So this will be part of my, and I've got enough of the bottom to make my bottom flap. So I've just taken the ones that I thought had nice advertisements on them or pictures on them that could make coin envelopes, and they've already been folded. So these will be easy for me to just fold that side part and then fold the tops and bottoms. So I'm just going to sit there and play with these today. Thanks for watching. Hi there, I'm back, and I have finished creating a whole bunch of envelopes from the movie book pages. Some of the envelopes that I've created were advertisements of their own, so I think I'm going to leave those pretty much on their own. I will distress the edges, but these mostly have just a particular ad, so that's that pile. And then I created some envelopes, regular envelopes, and these have the ads going sideways, and they're a mix of ads. And then I have these longer ones that go this way. So what I'm going to do is slide these up, and I'm just going to play with adding some little bits and pieces to some of the envelopes. So these are two that I did earlier. So I've added some washi stickers, some vellum, little vellum pages, a ticket and some stickers, and then a fussy cut there. And I did add a couple on the back there as well. And then this one, I haven't done anything on the back of this one, but I've added a couple of things onto that. So all I'm doing is picking a couple of vellum stickers that I have, and then a fussy cut. And I'm going to start with those. So this particular one, I'm going to add this washi sticker. If I can get it started, there we go. So we're just going to peel that off. And I'm going to add that over in the corner here, just to cover up some of the words that are there. Like that. And then I thought I would just put a simple little flower on there. And I'm just using my art glitter glue, Art Institute glue, if I can get it working here. There we go. And I like this because I can get in all those little corners of the cutout, right up to the edges. And then it will stick, and I won't have any little points or anything pulling up on the edges. So we're going to put that flower right there, like that. And I'm just going to use my brayer to push that down nice and flat. So there's the beginning of that one. So I'm just going to set that one aside. And then I have this one. And again, I've got some, writing there from the New York Times, and they were commenting on the movie. And these are all from what I can gather, I believe they were from the 20s and 30s and 40s. I think that's as high as it went, was the 40s. But most of them were the 20s and 30s. So they're really, really old movie posters. And then I'm just going to put this one there. So I just think these would be a fun way, because the advertisements are sideways. But it does give you a nice background to start with. So put that guy there. I'm going to roll that one on. So there's the second one. These are just started. This one had a guy's face on the front of it, and it was a pretty big ad, full page ad. So I've got to put that one on there, and then I think I'm just going to put this white one. I really like this white flower, and I want to use it. So I thought it would be perfect, covering up a lot of that big text. All right, and I'm going to put this guy right here. Gotta make sure it's on the page. There we go. There we go. Like that. And there's that one. And then I have, I'm just going to move these guys out of the way, set them up there. I have this one, and this is just text with a flower, but I want to cover up some of that dark area, so I'm hoping this whiter sticker will help me with that. Okay, try not to rip any pieces off because it's very multi-layered here. Move that out of the way. And again, I'm just going to put it right there and smooth that out. And then I will stick this really colorful flower here. I thought this would bring some nice color in. And again, you want to make sure you get out on those little points. All the little leaves and whatnot. So I just kind of go out that way. And then the same with this one. I'm just going to go out like that. Make sure I got enough in the middle there. And let's put that one right there. All right. So that one's down. And then this one, see how it has quite a darker area? I'm trying to cover some of that darkness up. So I think I'm going to put that one up in the corner. And I may have to cut a little bit of the washi, or I'll just bend it over the back. So I'll pull that guy off. And I want this one to kind of go up into the corner here like that. And then I think I'm just going to fold it over onto the back here. Just let me pull that little part right there. And then I'm just going to glue that flower right there. So I'm just going to be playing with, starting with the flower and a little bit of washi tape, and I'll just show you some of the other things. I've got tons of other things that I want to add to these. Okay, so there's that one, and then I have two others sitting here, and let's quickly do those, and then I'll show you an idea that I had, and I might add some of those on as well, if I can get these stickers started. They really fight with me. I'm gonna have to get a really pokey knife or something that will start these better, but okay, so this guy, now this has a lady's picture, so I don't want to cover up her face too much. Where did they start it? Right there. All right. There we go. And then I thought, oops, let go of me. I thought this would look nice in the corner. So we'll add this one. There we go. Make sure my washi's, and I'm just covering up some of the faces in the bottom here, like that. So there's that one. And then we'll quickly do this one. By golly, I think I'm getting the hang of this. And this one has a man with a top hat on, so I'm just trying to cover up some of that top hat because it's really dark. There we go. And then we'll add this little, actually I don't really like that blue flower very much, so I've got some others here. What about that one? That adds a little more color, doesn't it? Got that one. Got this one. Ooh, that's dramatic. I like that one. Let's add that really deep violet. And again, this one has lots of little pointy, so we make sure we get all those. Right down to the edges. Put that one on there. Okay. So that's just the start. And then I have, like I say, some vellum. I have some of these tickets that I created. These are purchased ones, but these are others that I have made. So I have those, so I can add some tickets, which I thought would be kind of nice. And then I do have other stickers that I can throw in there on the corners. And I do have these little vellum pages, and they're just little advertisements as well. So they may look nice on the backs. If I want to fill in a spot, I can maybe add something on the back. But I also have, when I was pulling apart my film slides, my negative slides, photo negative slides, whatever you want to call them, when I was pulling out the negatives, what I did was I cut some of the side pieces off of the negative. So I have all these little tiny film strips. They look like little baby film strips. So I thought I could even add something like that onto each of them because these are old movies. So I think it would pull in a nice bit of that pull at the fact that these are old movies. So I may add one of these little film strips somewhere on there as well. And I will use my Fabri-Tac glue for those, I think. So I'm going to add some of those as well. So let's maybe add one to this one. Let me grab my Fabri-Tac glue. Oops, excuse me for my reach. I don't know if it'll be good for this film strip or not because of the acetate in the glue. Let's find out. It might just eat away at the film. Who knows? This is what playing is all about. So maybe we'll put this one up in the corner here. Like that. I think that's kind of neat. I think I will add one to each of the envelopes just to kind of give it that film strip. So that's all I'm doing is I'm just grabbing some little bits and pieces, and I'm going to start with a washi sticker because I'm trying to use up some of the washi stickers that I have. And then I'm going to fussy cut, add a floral fussy cut just because I have lots of those as well. And then we'll add this little film strip, and then once that's dry, I'm going to get my eraser. I have a gum eraser, and I'll just erase any of the ooze that comes out. So I'm just going to let that dry before I do that because it'll just pull that little film strip off. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep adding some more of these little film strips along inside the pictures. And then once I'm done, I'll take a quick photo and I'll add it to the end of the video. But that's what I'm going to be playing with today, is just collaging some of these. And I'm going to put this one at an angle. Film. Movie envelopes. And again, I'm going to leave these ones alone. I think these ones are kind of neat. Maybe even we can add a little film strip into there. And that's all I would add on there because I love the ads. They're just really cool. So maybe just add something like that onto the bottom. I think that would be really neat. Yeah. So that's what I'm working on today. I hope you enjoyed the quick video, and I'll try and keep turning on my video whenever I start playing with some of my ephemera, and we'll just record a little bit as I go. Thanks so much for watching.